Are you the person who thinks AI is all smoke and mirrors until it hits your bottom line? Then good, because the next 2 years decide who prints profit and who gets priced out. Here's the plan nobody gave you, until now. If you're tired of fluffy AI chatter, this is your shortcut. In the next few minutes, we're going to map where AI is right now, what's about to flip over in the next 12 to 24 months, how the industry gets reshuffled by 2028, who actually captures value, the rules that will bite, and the simple way to turn it into profit. And the simple way to turn it into real results without burning cash or your team. Keep watching, because near the end I will show you the single metric that predicts if your AI work will actually make money, and most teams don't track it. Let's begin with the part that matters. What's true today? Costs have really crashed. To get GPT-5 level performance, the cost per million tokens fell about 280 times between late 2022 and 2025. That sounds abstract, to be honest. Stuff that used to be way too expensive to run every hour now fits in your daily budget. That only one shift unlocks a ton of use cases. And really is not just about the price. It's about the smaller open weight models which are closing gaps with big closed ones on some tests, which means more choice and more control for the builders. But really, here's the twist most people miss. Adoption is high, yet many companies still don't see a clear boost in company-wide profit from Gen AI. In one large survey, over 80% said they weren't seeing material enterprise level EBIT impact yet, that 5% or more of their EBIT came from generative AI in the past year. That means the edge doesn't go to the loudest team. It goes to the ones that actually redesign the actual workflows, not just bolt AI on top. Meanwhile, the compute is leveling up again. Blackwell Ultra chips have been shipped widely in the second half of 2025, and the next wave, Rubin, lands after that. The translation is the following. It means more performance, more memory, and cheaper inference over time. Not trivia, this is the plumbing that makes real-time multimodal assistance normal, not a demo. So, really, where does that leave you? With a very practical question. What should you do in the next 90 days so you're not catching up in 2026? Hold that thought. First, we need a clear map of where value actually shows up. AI creates value in 3 simple ways. It cuts costs by doing the boring, repetitive 70% of work so people handle the tricky 30%. It lifts revenue by helping you respond faster and smarter so leads convert and customers stay. And it reduces the cycle time and errors. Finance closes faster, support replies instantly, operations catch problems before they spread. If your headcount stays the same but output grows, or if you sell more with cleaner follow-ups, that's real money. Keep this pocket formula. Return of investment equals time saved plus revenue lift minus AI costs, all divided by AI costs. If that sounds too simple, then good, it's supposed to be. You should be able to back off the napkin in these numbers. Now, here's the challenge almost no one admits, the demo to dollars gap. Lots of teams can show a cool bot, but very few have a system that's accurate enough, fast enough, and cheap enough to run every day without babysitting. The gap is where companies either stall or start winning. Let me show you now how teams close that gap. First is the timing. The reason now matters is not a vibe, it's math and hardware. As I said previously, costs dropped more than 280 times for GPT-5 class performance in under 2 years. Energy efficiency improved, smaller models got better, and you've got multiple vendors to choose from. That means the question really isn't can it run, it's does it run well enough, cheap enough, and safe enough to trust. On the second part is adoption versus impact. High adoption with low profit impact is not bad news, it's an opportunity. It means if you execute basic blocking and tackling, picking the right workflow, wiring it into your systems, and measuring real outcomes, that means you're running faster than most of the field. The bar to beat is not perfect, it's clear, measured improvement. Third, the chips and supply. With Blackwell Ultra and Rubin, expect steadier supply and better output. You'll hear scary stories about shortages and you'll see hot takes on the next architecture name, but the big picture is simple. The floor for performance keeps rising and the cost pressure keeps falling, so you should plan accordingly. Okay, now, so what changes in the next 12 to 24 months? There are 4 big shifts. The shift 1 is on-device and edge AI. Some tasks will run just right on your laptop or phone for instant response and privacy, while the heavy lifting runs in the cloud. Think of a meeting assistant that records and summarizes locally, then syncs just the clean notes to your tools. You get speed, you protect sensitive info, and you shave cloud spend. Shift 2. Real agents, not chat windows. Instead of a bot that answers questions, think of a worker that can plan steps, call tools, write updates, and double-check its work. In recruiting, that looks like an agent that reads applications, schedules screenings, drafts offers, logs everything into the HR system, and hands your exceptions that need a human touch. Shift 3. It's multimodal by default. You speak, show a screenshot, drag in a spreadsheet, and it replies with a clean email draft plus a short video with highlights. The lines between text tool, video tool, and analytics tool blur into one assistant that sees and speaks many formats. And the last but not least, the shift 4, cost discipline as a feature. Inference cost is your actual bill, not a theoretical debate. The winners are going to route tasks to the cheaper models that still hits the accuracy clear, caches results when it makes sense, and trim token bloat. Bigger isn't automatically better. Measured, it is. Just zoom out and see the hourglass stack forming. At the bottom, chips and data center infrastructure. Above that, the cloud and orchestration level. Then the model layer. On top of that, data and evaluation. Finally, are the vertical apps and workflows that users touch on a daily basis. Where's the moat? Everyone focuses on chips or model names, but the sticky power sits in your data and your evaluation system. If you own clean, frequently updated operational data, and you can prove your system is accurate, fast and affordable, you're hard to copy. Expect the model layer to consolidate around a handful of serious players, while the app layer explodes with niche tools. The leverage lands with whoever sits closest to the workflow and the customer. Now really, let's talk rules, because rules changes the roadmap. In Europe, the AI Act is rolling out in phases. Some bans kicked in February 2025. Transparency rules for general purposes AI started 12 months after the law took effect in August 2025. High-risk systems have 36 months, so August 2026. And despite public debate, regulators say the timeline stands, which means no pause incoming. If you sell into the EU or touch EU users, plan for documentation. Capability cards describe what your system can do, where your data comes from, how you tested it, and what the risks are. This is moving from nice to have to mandatory. There's also a wave of safety commitments from major lab and governments. Think standard language around evaluation, disclosure, and security. They are not all bidding laws, but they set the vibe for what buyers will ask during procurement. Show me your tests, your red teaming, your safeguards. The practical takeaway: treat compliance like a product feature. Build for audits the way you build for uptime. So really, what's the actual problem we need to solve? It's just simple. We're great at pilots, but terrible at production. Really now is that most teams ship a proof of concept that helps one person on a good day. Then it breaks on a bad day and everyone loses trust in the technology. The fix is not a fancy model, it's a boring system with data retrieval, redaction, and evaluation harness, with version control and rollback. And if that sounds like software engineering for you, well, you're not wrong. Now let's walk a real-world story, shall we? Picture a mid-market e-commerce brand drowning in support tickets. Same 6 questions over and over again. The team plugs in an AI assistant that reads the help center and drafts the replies. Agents approve, customers get the help faster. At first, it's just chaos, isn't it? Some draft sounds robotic, a few are wrong, and the bot doesn't know about last week's policy change. They pause at retrieval over updated docs, strip out sensitive fields, and set a confidence threshold. Now the assistant only auto-sends what is true about. Everything else goes to a human. First response time drops from hours to seconds, and 30% of tickets never touch a person. Cost per ticket drop, CSATs hold steady. That moves a real number, not just a demo. Here's what smart teams measure from day one. Accuracy. Is the output right? Latency. Does it respond fast enough to be useful? Now, cost per successful task. How many dollars did we spend for work that passed our bar? You'll notice that I will keep saying successful task. That's your North Star. Not tokens, not parameters, not vibes. Dollars per successful task. Track that weekly, daily if you can. Share it with the team. Optimize it like you optimize click-through rates. And now I know what you're thinking. Man, cool story, but does this work everywhere? Not everywhere, and that's fine. You don't need 100 wins. You need one or two that really matter, right? Support, sales follow-up, finance reconciliations, operations checklists. These are boring gold mines. In some sectors that are very exposed to AI, revenue per employee is already growing 3 times faster than in lower exposure sectors. The lesson isn't replace everyone, it's let the system do the grunt work so people do the smart work. And here comes the question, what about build versus buy? Use a model API or a platform if your edge is your workflow and your data. If your edge is model itself, sure, fine-tune or distill, but budget for evaluation, monitoring, and red teaming. Either way, the cost that you're feeling every day is inference. Optimize that before chasing a bigger model. Really, prices move, but the principle holds. Route tasks to the cheapest model that still hits your accuracy target. Let's set up a mini playbook that you can actually run. Pick one workflow with measurable pain. Too slow, too expensive, too error prone. After that, define 3 metrics: accuracy, latency, and cost per successful task. Now build a tiny evaluation system, 50 to 200 real tasks with correct answers. Start with retrieval over your docs so the model doesn't hallucinate as much. Redact sensitive stuff on the way in and block saving anything private on the way out. Ship behind a feature flag so a human can take over any time. Pin your model and prompt versions so changes don't surprise you. Run nightly tests. If a metric dips, roll back. Train your people like you train them on a new tool. Because this is actually a tool, to be honest. Show them how to use it, not what to do. How to spot a weak answer and what to escalate. Actually, the fastest way to blow trust is to surprise your team. The fastest way to win them over is to save them an hour of onboarding work. Now, a quick look at 3 possible futures for 2026 to 2028 and how to act if each one shows up. The best case is hybrid edge cloud becomes normal. You've got local features for privacy and speed, cloud for heavy lifting. Agent pilots move into back office tasks and then creep into customer facing work as reliability improves. Inference costs trend down. What do you watch? GPU supply staying stronger on device models, and standardized evaluation dashboard. And now what do? You invest in your data governance and your evaluation setup. That's the compounding asset. Acceleration on device model and agent toolkits get much better, much faster. Offline copilots hold up. Agent plans get reliable enough to run most back office work. How to play it? Redesign whole process, not steps. Hire for upskill integration and evaluation depth. The bottleneck becomes change management, not tech. Now you'll have a regulatory drag. Compliance costs and risk worries slow releases in regulated industries. You'll see public enforcement actions and vendors adding heavy assurance requirements. Now what to do? Turn the compliance into a feature. You'll build audit trails, show data lineage, and document decisions. The team that can prove safety moves when others stall. In the EU in particular, keep an eye on how transparency and high-risk rules land through 2025-2026. The dates are public and the Commission has already said the schedule stands. Some quick hits on risk so you don't step on a rake. Hallucinations happens. Put confidence thresholds around critical actions and keep a human in the loop for anything risky. Data leakage is real. Redact names, IDs, and sensitive fields. Restrict what your retrieval can pull. Be explicit in vendor contracts about training on your data. Prompt injection and tool misuse can burn you. Sandbox tools, validate outputs, and never let the model push a payment or change a setting without checks. Drift sneaks in over time. Pin versions, run nightly tests, and alert on regressions. We're closing in on the key movement. So here's the single metric I promised. Cost per successful task. Again, not per token, not per prompt, but per successful task. If you can drive that number down while keeping accuracy at a level you trust and latency to a level users like, you win. When you present results to your team or your leadership, lead with that one chart. Everything else is detail. Now let's pull it together in a simple 30, 60, 90 days that plays nice with busy calendars. Day 1 to 30. Pick one workflow. Write down the current accuracy, latency, and cost per task. Build your small evaluation set. Hook up retrieval to your own doc. Put guardrails in. Redaction, confidence, threshold, and the human override. Show a measurable improvement in one metric without hurting the others. In days 31 to 60, expand to the full team. Wire it the system into record, CRM, ticketing, ERP, so the work actually counts. Build a simple dashboard that shows accuracy, latency, and cost per successful task every single day. Fix the slow parts. Tune routing so cheap models handle easy takes and stronger models handle the weird ones. Day 61 to 90. Widen the scope or add a second workflow. Set budget guardrails so the system can't surprise you with a big bill. Write down your oh no plan. If accuracy drops below X or cost rises above Y, the system auto rolls back and pings the owner. Have the playbook ready before you need it. And here's the one last truth before we land this plane. The companies pulling ahead aren't always the richest or the loudest. They are the ones who quietly fold AI into the boring money-making parts of the business. They also treat documentation like a feature and evaluation like oxygen. That's not glamorous, but it's how you'd get durable wins. And when the hardware wave keep pushing, more memory, better output, new architectures, your system will already be set to take advantage of it. And here's your quick recap. Costs fell hard and will keep bending down. Adoption is high, but profit impact is uneven, which is actually your opening. Over the next 2 years, we'll see more on-device smarts, agent workflows that finally do the job, and multimodal by default. The stack is settling into an hourglass shape with data and evaluation as the checkpoint that actually defends your edge. The regulations, especially in the EU, which will eventually become global, are not a rumor. They're a roadmap with dates. Built for audits. Pick one workflow with real pain, wire it in, and track accuracy, latency, and cost per successful task. And treat it like your job depends on it, because it most probably does. Now you've got the map, and the next move is yours. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.